Discipline is not about control, it is about liberation. It is the silent war that rages within every human being. The war between who you are and who you could become. Every time you wake up and choose not to hit the snooze button, every moment you resist a distraction, every second you push through the fatigue instead of surrendering to comfort, you are fighting a war that no one else can see but everyone will feel through your results. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect. It is the art of mastering your emotions before they master you, of building consistency where chaos once ruled, and of shaping a mind so strong that even when the body wants to quit, the spirit refuses to surrender. When you begin to understand that the real enemy lives within the part of you that seeks ease, validation, and excuses, then discipline becomes your weapon, your armor, and your victory. Number 1. The enemy within. The greatest enemy you will ever face does not live outside of you. It does not walk the streets, wear a uniform, or announce its arrival. It lives in your own mind, whispering softly, disguising itself as comfort, fear, doubt, and procrastination. It is the part of you that says, "I'll do it tomorrow." The part that tells you you're too tired, too busy, too late, or not good enough. It hides behind excuses so convincing that you begin to believe them. And before you realize it, that voice has built invisible walls around your potential, trapping you in a prison made of your own hesitation. You must learn to recognize that voice, because it is not your friend, it is the enemy within. It's the force that resists growth, that resents discipline, that thrives on your weakness. It is the shadow that grows stronger every time you choose comfort over challenge. But here's the truth. That enemy cannot be defeated by anger or aggression. It can only be dissolved through awareness and action. The moment you see it clearly for what it is, a reflection of your fears, you strip it of its power. The inner enemy survives only when you obey it without question. Every morning when you wake up, the war begins again. One side wants to rise early, move your body, sharpen your mind, and live with purpose. The other side wants to stay in bed, scroll endlessly, delay, and dream without ever doing. These two forces are constantly pulling you in opposite directions, and whichever side you feed becomes stronger. You are not a victim of this battle, you are its commander. You decide which voice leads your day. You decide which path your life will take. When you start confronting the enemy within, you will notice how clever it is. It will not shout, it will whisper in the tone of reason. It will say, "You've worked hard enough today, or you deserve a break." It will use kindness as camouflage and logic as a weapon. And if you are not awake, if your awareness is asleep, it will win without even fighting. The only way to defeat it is through presence, through small acts of discipline that declare, "I am in control." Every time you resist that voice, you take back a piece of your power. Understand this, the enemy within cannot be destroyed overnight. It lives inside habits, thoughts, and emotions built over years. But it weakens every time you choose consistency over comfort. Every time you silence the urge to quit, every time you take one more step when your mind tells you to stop, you are winning the invisible war. You become stronger, calmer, more aware. You stop reacting to life and start commanding it. That is when the balance shifts from being controlled by your inner chaos to mastering it. Many people spend their whole lives blaming the world for their struggles, never realizing that the real battle was never outside. They fight against circumstances, against people, against fate. Yet the greatest victory is the one within. When you conquer your mind, life begins to follow your direction. When you stop fighting with yourself, you stop fighting with the world. So the next time that inner voice tries to pull you back into comfort, listen closely but do not obey. Smile at it, acknowledge it, and then take action anyway. Let discipline be your sword and awareness your shield. The more you fight this quiet war, the more you will understand that peace does not come from avoiding struggle, it comes from mastering it. And when the day comes that you no longer flinch at difficulty, when you rise in silence and move with purpose even when no one is watching, you will realize something profound. The enemy within was never there to destroy you, it was there to shape you. It was there to forge your strength, sharpen your will, and awaken the warrior within your soul. Number 2. Pain is the path. Pain is the doorway that most people refuse to walk through. Yet it is the only path that leads to real strength. You cannot build endurance without fatigue. You cannot develop patience without frustration. And you cannot discover who you truly are without discomfort pressing against your limits. Pain is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher, disguised in the harshness of experience. It arrives uninvited, but it always brings a lesson if you have the courage to listen. Think about it. Every powerful transformation in your life has come from pain. The pain of failure that forced you to grow, the pain of discipline that shaped your habits, the pain of letting go that cleared the path for new beginnings. Pain strips away illusions. It removes your comfort, your excuses, and your false strength. It brings you face to face with your true self, the one that remains when everything easy has been taken away. Most people run from pain. They numb it, hide from it, or try to outsmart it. But the wise learn to walk through it. They understand that pain is a mirror. It shows you where you are weak, where you still cling to comfort, where your limits truly lie. Avoiding it only delays your evolution. Facing it transforms you. When you stop fearing pain and start embracing its message, you begin to grow in ways that comfort could never allow. You see, pain has a strange intelligence. It knows exactly where to touch you, where to break you open, where to reveal what you've been hiding from yourself. And every time you choose to endure instead of escape, you become less fragile. The fire that once burned you begins to forge you. The storm that once terrified you begins to cleanse you. The suffering that once weakened you begins to strengthen your soul. That is the alchemy of discipline. It turns pain into power. When you train your body, it hurts. When you push your mind beyond its old beliefs, it resists. When you practice patience, your impulses scream for release. Yet in all those moments, something deeper is being built. Pain is not there to stop you. It is there to see if you truly mean what you say you want. Everyone desires greatness, but few are willing to endure what greatness demands. Discipline is what transforms pain from punishment into purpose. In the moments when you want to quit, when the weight feels unbearable, when your mind whispers enough, that is when transformation begins. That pain is the sound of your old self breaking apart, making space for the stronger version of you to emerge. If you can endure that moment, you step into a new dimension of yourself, a place where strength is no longer something you chase, but something you are. Do not fear pain. Study it, observe it, allow it to show you who you are becoming. Pain is the raw material from which inner peace is sculpted. It humbles you, softens your ego, and sharpens your awareness. The deeper your pain, the deeper your understanding of yourself and of life. Through pain you learn compassion. Through pain you learn patience. Through pain you learn to move through life with grace, even in chaos. And one day when you look back, you will not resent the pain. You will bow to it with gratitude. Because it was pain that taught you resilience, pain that revealed your strength, and pain that led you to the discipline that now defines your life. The path of pain is not a path of suffering, it is the path of awakening. And when you finally learn to walk through pain without fear, you will realize the truth. Pain was never there to destroy you, it was there to make you indestructible. Number 3. Consistency over motivation. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment, but if you don't feed it with discipline, it fades into darkness. You felt it before, that rush of energy when you make a new plan, set a new goal, or watch something that stirs your spirit. For a few hours, maybe even a few days, you feel unstoppable. But then life happens, the energy fades, the excitement cools, and suddenly, the same things that once inspired you now feel heavy. That is when most people stop, not because they lack dreams, but because they built their dreams on emotion instead of discipline. Motivation is temporary, consistency is eternal. Motivation whispers, I feel like doing it. Consistency answers, I'll do it, no matter how I feel. One depends on mood, the other depends on commitment, and that's the difference between those who wish for success and those who build it. You cannot rely on fleeting emotion to create lasting change. If you only act when you feel inspired, your life will move in circles. But when you act with discipline, when you show up again and again, especially when you don't feel like it, your life moves forward, slowly but surely towards mastery. Think of it like water carving through stone. It's not force that shapes the rock, it's persistence. A single drop, repeated over time, can cut through what once seemed unbreakable. Your effort works the same way. The days you feel nothing, the days you feel tired, the days you feel unseen, those are the days when the carving continues. Discipline may not look powerful in the moment, but it is in those quiet, unseen repetitions that greatness is born. You must understand that motivation belongs to your emotions, and emotions are unreliable. They rise and fall like waves, easily influenced by sleep, stress, or weather. But consistency belongs to your spirit. It stands unmoved by storms. Discipline is what allows you to act with clarity, even when your emotions are loud. It is the calm within you that says, I made a promise to myself and I will keep it. The path to mastery is not built on intensity, it's built on repetition. Anyone can give effort once, anyone can work hard for a week. But can you keep showing up when no one is watching? Can you keep moving when results come slowly? Can you stay loyal to your purpose when the excitement disappears? That is what defines your strength. Consistency transforms dreams into reality because it turns your actions into habits and your habits into character. Some days you will wake up and feel powerful. Other days you will wake up and feel nothing. But you must move regardless. You must show up not because you are motivated, but because you are devoted. True discipline is not about perfection, it is about presence. It's about saying, I will take one step today, even when your mind tries to convince you that it's pointless. That single step repeated every day becomes momentum. Momentum becomes mastery, and mastery becomes freedom. You will notice that when you rely less on motivation and more on consistency, you become calmer. You stop waiting for inspiration. You stop chasing highs. You start trusting your process. And slowly the world around you begins to bend in your favor. Not because it suddenly got easier, but because you became unwavering. So when you feel uninspired, remember this: you are not supposed to feel motivated every day. You are supposed to remain consistent every day. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is not passion, it's persistence. The spark of motivation can start the fire, but only discipline keeps it burning. When you learn to move without needing to feel, to act without needing to be told, and to stay the course no matter the weather, you become unstoppable. Because in the end, motivation may start your journey, but consistency will finish it. Number 4, emotional control. Emotions are powerful waves. They can lift you high or drown you in seconds. Most people spend their lives being carried by them, tossed around by anger, fear, excitement, and disappointment. They react to everything the world throws at them, and in that reaction they lose control of themselves. But true discipline begins when you stop being moved by every wave, when you learn to stand still in the middle of the storm and let the water crash without being swept away. Emotional control is not the absence of feeling, it is the mastery of it. It is the art of feeling deeply but choosing wisely. Every day life will test you. Someone will speak to you harshly. Something will not go as planned. A delay, a rejection, a failure. Each of these is a spark that can ignite the fire within you. You will feel the surge rise in your chest, the heat in your mind, the urge to react, to shout, to prove something. But in that moment your strength is not in expression, it is in restraint. The world teaches you that power means domination. But the truth is, power means composure. The one who cannot control their emotions is controlled by them. When you let anger decide your words, when you let fear dictate your choices, when you let sadness stop your movement, you are no longer the master of your mind. You have handed over the steering wheel to impulse, and impulse never leads you where you want to go. Emotional control does not mean suppressing what you feel. It means becoming aware of it, watching it rise, but refusing to be commanded by it. It is the quiet confidence that says, I see this feeling, but I choose my response. Imagine standing in front of a mirror on a windy day. The reflection moves only if you move. The wind can't touch it, it only distorts the image when you react. That is how emotions work. The world will always bring wind, pressure, chaos, temptation, but when your inner reflection is still, your vision remains clear. You begin to act with purpose instead of reaction. You begin to move with clarity instead of confusion. Emotional discipline is built in silence. It is trained in the small moments when no one is watching. When you choose patience over anger, understanding over ego, forgiveness over pride. Each choice strengthens your inner core, building a foundation so solid that external noise no longer shakes it. Over time, people will wonder how you remain calm when others crumble, how you maintain focus when others panic. It's not luck, it's not indifference, it's mastery. You have learned that calmness is not weakness, it is your weapon. Understand this deeply. Emotions are meant to serve you, not enslave you. Anger can become energy, fear can become awareness, sadness can become wisdom, but only when you hold the reins. If you let them run wild, they turn destructive. If you guide them with awareness, they become your allies. The disciplined mind doesn't fight emotions, it transforms them. It channels them toward growth, creativity, and understanding. When you can feel pain and still move with grace, when you can feel anger and still speak with kindness, when you can feel fear and still walk forward, that is when you truly own yourself. That is when no one and nothing outside of you can disturb your peace. And that peace is not given to you by the world. It is earned through mastery over your emotions. So when the next wave comes, and it will, do not resist it and do not drown in it. Let it rise, let it pass, and stay still at your center. Because power is not found in how loud you roar when you're angry, but in how silent you remain when your heart is shaking. Emotional control is not about becoming less human, it's about becoming more aware, more present, more free. And when you master your emotions, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, no storm, internal or external, can ever take your peace again. Number 5. Sacrifice equals freedom. Freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. True freedom comes from mastering what you once thought you could not live without. Most people misunderstand this. They chase comfort, pleasure, and ease, believing that freedom means the absence of boundaries. But the truth is, every freedom requires a sacrifice. Every strength is born from something you gave up. Discipline and sacrifice are not chains that hold you down. They are the wings that lift you above your old self. When you look closely, you'll see that life always demands a trade. You can sacrifice your time now for growth, or you can sacrifice your potential later for regret. You can sacrifice your comfort for strength, or your strength for comfort. Either way, something is always given up. The question is, are you sacrificing for your future or your downfall? The undisciplined mind always chooses the easy trade, the short-term comfort that costs long-term peace. But the disciplined one chooses the harder road, the one that demands effort, restraint, and patience, because that is the road that leads to real freedom. Think about the greatest musicians, warriors, thinkers, and masters the world has ever known. Every single one of them gave up something. They sacrificed sleep for training, pleasure for purpose, comfort for focus. But what they received in return was not limitation, it was liberation. They became free from laziness, free from distraction, free from fear. Their sacrifice was the price of becoming untouchable. That is the paradox most people never understand. When you discipline yourself, you are no longer controlled by impulses. When you give up what weakens you, you are no longer a prisoner of your emotions. That is freedom. Sacrifice equals freedom because it frees you from dependency. You no longer need motivation to move. You no longer crave validation to feel worthy. You no longer chase approval to know your direction. You begin to live by your own compass, not the expectations of the crowd. And this kind of freedom does not happen overnight. It is built moment by moment, through the small sacrifices that no one sees. Waking up earlier than you want to, saying no when every part of you wants to say yes, staying focused when your mind begs for distraction. These acts may seem small, but each one cuts a chain that once held you back. There will be times when your sacrifices feel heavy. You'll watch others enjoy what you've chosen to walk away from. You'll question if it's worth it. You'll feel the sting of discipline while others laugh in ease. But stay firm, because the same ones who mock your effort today will one day wish they had your strength. The freedom they seek in indulgence is temporary. The freedom you are building through sacrifice is permanent. You are not losing anything. You are gaining yourself. When you give up laziness, you gain direction. When you give up excuses, you gain results. When you give up distractions, you gain time. Every sacrifice becomes a seed, and with patience, those seeds grow into a life of purpose, focus, and inner peace. You begin to move with clarity because you no longer serve two masters, comfort and growth. You have chosen one, and in doing so, you have chosen power. Sacrifice is not about deprivation, it is about liberation. It is the silent act of saying, I choose my future over my impulses. The pain of discipline lasts for a moment, but the pain of regret lasts for a lifetime. And when you finally look back, you will realize that the things you once thought you were losing were never worth keeping. So when the path of sacrifice feels lonely, remember this. You are not walking away from life, you are walking toward a higher one. You are walking towards strength, mastery, and peace. And the moment you embrace sacrifice as your teacher, you will understand the profound truth. Freedom was never found in getting more, but in needing less. Number 6. Routine builds the warrior. The strongest warriors are not built on the battlefield. They are built in the quiet hours of daily routine. Not when the crowd is watching, but when no one is there to applaud. It is in those ordinary, repeated moments that your discipline takes shape. Most people look for dramatic transformations, but true strength is not born from a single act of courage. It is forged through countless small actions done with intention, consistency, and patience. Your routine is your training ground. Every sunrise gives you a chance to sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and align your spirit. You may not notice it at first. The alarm rings, you rise, you move, you work, you repeat. It feels simple, even mundane. But what you are really doing is building a foundation, one brick at a time. Each disciplined action adds weight to your character. Each repetition strengthens the muscle of your will. The body learns, the mind follows, and the spirit hardens. Over time, your routine becomes armor. The same habits that once felt tedious begin to protect you from weakness, distraction, and chaos. Routine is not a prison, it is a path. It gives you structure in a world designed to scatter your focus. It reminds you that power doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things again and again until they become second nature. Like a blacksmith who strikes the same metal thousands of times to shape a blade, you are forging yourself through daily discipline. It's not the one powerful strike that makes the sword sharp, it's the repetition, the rhythm, the patience behind every movement. When you build a routine, you teach your mind to obey your intention instead of your mood. You stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? And start saying, it's time. This is where the transformation begins. Each morning you rise when you don't want to. Each time you finish what you started. Each time you train when tired.